Praise God.
And if you belong to Christ, who holds the power and the healing abilities, that same power and healing abilities belong to you too. You too also have self-healing abilities and that same power that Christ brought you with. Isn't that nice? You should be glad you answered that.
To make a change, because right away, they say, well, I gotta change, right? I gotta make this transformation in my life, right? But, exactly how long it's gonna take, because that could be a long process. That process can.
Marcus Hart Transform You Radio Show. The only radio show where you can make real results and start living in your purpose. Visit MarcusHartEnterprises.com. MarcusHartEnterprises.com.
Hello, my people, and welcome to Transform You Live Radio Show. We have an awesome show planned here tonight. It is nighttime here where I'm at, folks. If you are tuning in, I just welcome you and I extend my largest bit of love to you, as well as all positive energies and vibes coming from this way. As you might have known, we were on earlier today, and we happened to schedule another interview, actually 2 interviews, just yesterday, and they all were booked today as well, and I was very unaware of it. So I was, running around with my neck cut off almost, like a chicken running around, and I got into the studio, and the team told me, well, we have another interview coming up here less than an hour, and she can't get through the call, and it was just terrible. But we are thankful for imperfections. We are thankful for being able to learn the things that we would have known had we not made any mistakes. Just the same is for just life in general. This guest that we have on tonight, what can I say about her? She's awesome. She also shares the same first name as the guest I had on earlier. She's a best-selling author, and she brings a lot of experience as well as wisdom to this show here tonight, into this interview. So it is a blessing to have her on. I'm just excited, and I'm sure you are too. And if you haven't already, make sure you join the community at transformviewbroadcast.com. That's transformviewbroadcast.com. Join the community, and you will have exclusive access to all of the recordings of every interview that I have done thus far. We are only in interview number 7. This is interview number 7 of the year. So make sure you do go back and check out all the interviews, especially this one. This one is one you cannot miss, as this is a special Wisdom Wednesday. Can I get a hey now for Wisdom Wednesdays? So if you are viewing this and you are on Periscope, you will not be able to hear the guests. The only way you can hear the guests is if you do join us, and that's, once again, by joining us at transformviewbroadcast.com. Otherwise, you'll just be hearing me, and you'll begin to decipher a sense of what's being said. And that only builds excitement. That's what it does. It builds excitement for you. It makes you wonder, what are they saying? What are they doing? What is this all about? Well, once again, the only way to find out what it's all about is if you replay the recording once it is available to you. And that would be, once again, at transformviewbroadcast.com. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to some, maybe even many, maybe even thousands, to Gabriella Kovac. Hello, Gabriella.
Oh, hello, Marcus. Thank you very much for having me on your show. It sounds fascinating.
Oh, yes, it's definitely a pleasure to have you on, Gabriella. And, man, we feel blessed. We have a best-selling author. I am a big, fan of just authors. Me, myself, being an author, too, but a best-selling one. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know I have given the spiel, but let's hear it in your own words.
Thank you, Marcus. Well, I was born in Hungary, and right now I live in Australia. So you're getting this call from all the way from Aussie land.
Wow.
Now, my mother was that's right. My mother was a very brilliant woman, and unfortunately she passed away, but what I've learned from her, she made me write the book. So I've actually started writing it when I was a very young child in my head, thinking that this is a story that has to be told, because it's just an amazing thing of a person overcoming all the obstacles of the war and everything else and coming out winning, and she won it every time. So basically that's my passion of seeing if I could get anybody else to join in and have that self-esteem within themselves and to make things go right for themselves.
Yes.
That's basically
awesome.
my goal in life. Yes. Yes.
Great. That's very remarkable. So, were you raised in Hungary?
Until the Hungarian Revolution, I was in Hungary. It falls on my birthday, and I thought it was when they were bombed. I heard the guns go off, I thought they were celebrating my birthday. Obviously, they weren't. So after that, my mother just said, "That's it, where they kill people every 10 years, and it's cold. We're not staying." So we came to Australia.
Wow.
She literally bought the passports after the revolution was ended and the borders were closed. So she went and bought 12 passports from the government.
Yes. And how old were you at that time?
I was 10.
Oh, 10 years old. Awesome. So
I was 10 years old, yes.
It would be very fair to say that you have a real good recollection of Nazi Germany and communism. How was that like growing up under that rule?
Well, I had a different viewpoint from most children because of her amazing ability. She literally started a small business under the nose of communism. And the only problem I had was not talking in public, but in privately. We lived in a mansion and we had a private library, and I was allowed to read all the books that they were. So I had a very nice childhood until they started shooting. And then I've also learned about what she went through and how she handled the rest of the Nazis. And because being Jewish, obviously, you had to really think outside the square to survive.
Definitely. So have that impacted you and turned you into the person you are now? You know, just that experience alone, has it made you a stronger person or a little bit more vulnerable?
I think because of how I was brought up, it made me very strong, and probably speaking for freedom and human rights, because it is just so important that we do have human rights and that we are allowed to speak what we want to say, and nobody can kill us or shoot at us or put us in jail. I think it is just so important for the human spirit.
Outstanding, definitely. You know, I can't agree with you more. You know, and you definitely speak in my language right now, and in that of a lot of Americans here. You know, I don't know how it's like in Australia, but you know, over here in America, we are, you know, we're supposed to be the land of the free, but every now and then there's restrictions on, you know, how we express ourselves. Did you take that same mentality when you decided to write your first book? Well,
the book had to be written. I can't explain it anymore. It was something that I had to do to pass over to others and to get people to understand that there is a viewpoint, and you just have to believe in yourself. And I hope everybody who listens looks at themselves, and instead of saying, look, I can't do that or I shouldn't do that, turns a corner and says, look, I can do this, and I can do that. And I hope everybody who listens looks at themselves and I hope everybody who listens looks at themselves and instead of saying, look, I can't do that or I shouldn't do that, turns a corner and says, look, I can do that maybe I can, maybe I should, maybe I'll try. It's so important.
That is very important. And we definitely appreciate your should-do attitude. And you know, how much of the book exactly is based on real incidents and people that you came across in your life?
Yes, it is based on, but it is based on my mother and how she handled the Holocaust, which was amazing. You know, when they said that the Nazis said, "We're a Star of David," and she looked at them and said, "Hold it there. These people are being marched into concentration camps. I don't know what's happening to them. I don't think so. I think I'd rather tint my hair blonde and get a false passport and pass as an alien. It's a better idea than being marched." So that was one of the things that she did, and I thought that was just so different. And I think that if anyone looks at it, there's always a choice. We all have a choice.
Definitely. Yeah. And have you gotten any backlash or any negative opinions about your book?
I have a few times spoken in different places, and where they said that's not possible. What I'm saying couldn't have happened. You couldn't have, when the borders were closed. How could you get a passport for 14 people or 12 people? But it is true. It did happen, but it happened because she dared to try.
Yes.
And that's the negativity I do get from some people that are downtrodden, do feel that it is better to be a victim and say, look what they've done to me. But I think one should turn around and say, yep, I think I learned from that. Let's see what I can do next time.
Definitely. Oh, wow. This is great information here that you are providing us right now. What would you say to possibly a younger person or young woman who is struggling with being a victim and feel like they can't dare to do? What type of advice would you give that person?
Yeah, I do think that we all have assets. Every one of us, I think every person in this world that's born has some asset. And it may be their looks, it may be something they can do better than somebody else. I think they should look at that and nourish that. And don't look at the negativity of it, because negativity within you, or just tell yourself, and I say that to everyone, if something happens to you that's not good and you don't like it, just say next. It's so simple. Just say next. And learn from it and do the next thing. See what you're good at. See if you can do something with a little thing that you're good at.
Wow, that's great. And it sounds like you gotten your, the same advice that you offer in others from, just some of the good advice you gotten. So what's been some of the best advice that you have heard and used in your own life?
Well, one of the main things is never give up. And, there's a beautiful quote. You can actually have a look at it. It goes back 200 years from Goethe. And it says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy. And it ends with, whatever you can do or dream, you can do it. Begin it now. And I think that's the best advice anyone can give to anyone.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I agree with you. Now, you
thank you, Marcus.
I'm just admiring you right now. I feel like a little school kid right now, looking at talking to one of the heroes. So here's a question I have for you. A real good question I have for you would be, now what are some of the books that you have read that you still enjoy to this day?
But you know what? I loved I loved Kipling, The Jungle Book, and I heard it's coming out as a movie. I thought that was beautiful book. I like fun books. I like children's books. I like adult books. I have a different taste, but I really like old-fashioned books. And I enjoy them immensely. Some of them are great. Yes. I'm just trying to think on the top of my head. I also love Greek mythology. I think that's a fascinating subject where, their belief was that each god was actually something that was an abstract thought. So that's a very interesting viewpoint as well. Yes.
Okay, definitely. Now, if you could associate yourself with any Greek mythological god, which one would be and why?
Oh, goodness, I never thought of that. Oh, goodness gracious me. That's an interesting view from which god I would like to associate. I just loved all of them. I think as a child I used to love, that was one of my favorite things in going into the library and reading some of these stories. I loved Hermes. I tell you what, Home, that was just, the Odysseus or the Iliad.
Yeah.
It's just such phenomenal, magic. I hope, the other day I was driving with my little granddaughter who's 5, and I started telling her some stories, Aesop stories, because it's very old, and I, in the end, each time I used to say, and tell me, darling, what did you get out of that? And you should have seen her little eyes going like saucers and saying, well, I've learned from that, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I thought, good on you. Well done. That's what I want from you. You learn.
Wow. I would imagine, you just mentioned you have a granddaughter. That's adorable. Now, I would imagine that you take a lot of what you experience in your lifestyle, and then you pour it into your own family values. What kind of reaction do you get from your children and your grandchildren when they hear of the stories?
Oh, they love it. They just love stories, and they love me telling them stories. And I love telling it to them because it's different from what they can get from the internet, and it's more modern things. And I just go to the old-fashioned stuff, and they just love it. They just keep learning from it. And I always make sure that I always ask that question: what did you learn from that story? What do you think? What would you take with you? And they do come up with it. Although she's tiny, she still comes up with an answer. So that's great.
Yeah, it is. That's fascinating. Wow.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really enjoying this conversation right now. This is great.
Good on you. Yes.
So you've been publishing your books. Now, are you doing that through self-publishing, or are you doing a major publisher? No, I did one book that was done by a publishing company, and I think it's better to do it with Amazon because you're in charge and you get 70%, while with a book publisher, you don't get that much. And I prefer the Amazon publishing. That's why I did the first book, which was Georgina Holocaust Survival Stories, and I've just finished the second one, which will be going online very shortly. Oh, really? Wow. And
yes.
So tell us a little bit about that one that's coming up. You have one, tell us about that one in just one sentence if you could. Well,
I'll tell you the title and I think you'll get it. It's called Fierce Courage. It's about a person who has incredible courage and crosses the border 270 kilometers in the middle of winter in knee-deep snow. That's just the beginning of the book.
Wow. And what led you up to writing this book?
I think it's the same. I think all the books that I want to write, it would be still the same thing, that one can prevail no matter what the opposition is. And this is also based on truth. It's more of a fiction, but it is still based on truth.
Okay. So do you find a lot of your inspiration for writing from just being able to just chart down all the events of your own life and your own experience, or do you find inspiration from other things?
Well, I look for inspiration. I go to a lot of meetups, talks, have Toastmasters, meet a lot of people, and I do take on board what different people say and what different stories are, and work on seeing if I can get something that will give a message that will go out and help others. I think that's the main theme of all the books that I want to write. Triumph over adversity.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And
Yes.
that was me. Excuse me for being rude. No, but I heard you say that you were a Toastmaster. So, are you a Toastmaster?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes, I'm about to go today. I'm going to be a keynote speaker for one of the competitions.
Wow, yeah, there is a competition. Yeah, because I'm a Toastmaster also.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's fantastic, Marcus. We definitely have something in common.
yes, we do. Yeah, it's definitely a good club. And it's great, how they bring people together. And that's, would you say that the stories that you write, is for a general audience, or is it written just for a specific type of audience?
I think it's for general audience. I really do want anyone. Both the books a 10-year-old could read, and I do want them to read it because they'll learn from it. And it's important that we pass on the history of the past to the future generation.
Yes, of course. And in thinking back on just human rights, in particularly, is there any type of specific issues going on in today's world that that you are passionate about, or that you have thoughts on?
Well, basically, I suppose we all have a bit of a worry about ISIS and what it creates, and it's just such a shame that there's that much hatred in the world. And
yes.
I wish there was something. I hope that I can do something with what I'm doing. I just hope that, looking for another way, or looking for inspiration. And I think that's what most people need, because then when they're downbeaten, they try and take it out on others, and hate comes out. And I do think that if they inspired more, they will get better, instead of thinking of murder and mayhem.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true. Wow, you definitely preaching to the choir right now.
Thank you. I really appreciate your interview, because I feel that that's what I want to do. I try and talk as much and that to as many people as possible, to see if I can inspire them, get them to probably read my book, or read something that's inspiration to them, and just do something.
So you definitely have an outstanding career, as an author. Exactly how do you know to date exactly how many copies of one of your books you have sold? I
wouldn't know really. You look on Amazon, the e-books, I sell about, quite a few daily. I just look on the e-book thing and I can see the statistics on it, and I can see that, there's not a day goes by that there's some books are not being sold, and then there's also some books are being sold on as a hard copy book. And then when I go and give a talk, so I'm invited to go and give a talk, of course, then I'll sign the book. It's fun. It's given me a hell of an interest, and I really, really enjoy it. I think it's more fun than anything else I've ever done before.
Yeah, it is definitely a joy. I can agree with you there too. And now, if you came across someone who was looking to become, a successful author, what advice would you give that person?
to. It sounds funny, but I've read it somewhere and somebody said it, but I couldn't quote you exactly who. If you want to be an author and you want to write, the best advice one can give is use bum glue. It sounds hilarious, but you need to sit in a chair and you need to just sit in a chair and you write. And then some of it you'll like and some of it you won't like. And, Toastmasters really helped me. Because you have to write short stories. You have to write something for 5 minutes, which is about 500 words. Once you write 500 words, what's the difference between 500 and 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000 or whatever? It becomes all easier and easier.
Yes, of course. Wow. Well, you definitely has just given us some real good insider tips and setting us up for great success here. And I'm not going to never forget what you suggested to everyone. You said never give up and look at what you're good at. And that's very important. For us to just reach from within and really look at what it is that we do best and use it for the good of all men.
That's what we need to do. And you think of us, every one of us on this planet, and we are all, I can't see one person that you can't see beauty in. I'm sure you agree with me on that, Marcus. There is no such thing. So why can't we all use that incredible God-given ability and do something with it?
Awesome. I love it. This has been a great, interview. If individuals wanted to get in touch with you personally, what would be the best way for them to do so?
Well, they can always look into my website, and there's some emails and everything else is on the website, which is my name, GabriellaKovac.com.
Okay.
And anyone can just call me, talk to me, send me a message, or through Amazon, because there's also an author page on Amazon. I'm more than happy to hear from anybody, and if any young authors are out there who'd like some help, I'll be more than happy to help, because that's what it's about. You help your fellow man.
That's right. We are in a time where collaboration is important right now.
Yes, it is.
And so that they have your, the spelling of your last name correct, can you just repeat the, website one more time for us with the spelling of your last name?
Yes, sure.
With the spelling.
Sure. It's Kovac, Kovac. It's Gabriella, Gabriella. So it's Gabriella Kovac.com.
Beautiful. Okay. And, and to all you guys out there listening right now, or maybe viewing, her interview will be posted on the website, as well as her website will be posted right above the recording archive of this interview. With that being said, Gabriella, we do have an election over here in America coming up here, and I don't know if you have been paying attention, but it's definitely been a weird election season for us over here. Do you have any favorites for us to lead the free world?
Oh, you know what? I was watching it. I really don't. I think I like Donald Trump, but I'm a bit worried about him being too over the top. But then there's the other viewpoints that at least he can't be bought. I hope, because he doesn't need any more. We hope, but then you never know, because some people never have enough. I don't know. I'm very Hillary Clinton, I like her. She seems like a nice lady, but I'm not sure. And then we're going back to the establishment again. Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows what's the best? Very difficult to make a decision.
Yes, I agree with you. It is definitely one of those coin tossers, and it seems like no matter what it lands on, you could be taking a risk either way.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Both ways is a risk. Yeah, and you don't want to go into another war headless, because that could be fatal to this planet. So we definitely need to come up with some other solution. Just wish I knew what it was. I hope some people learn from the past and not make the same mistakes, that's all.
Definitely.
Don't know how else to put it.
Yeah. A lot of people need to hear what you just said. a lot of people, including a lot of our politicians over here and leaders.
Yeah, I hope so. I just hope so. Yes.
Before we part ways, Gabriella, in our broadcast here, is there any final words you would like to leave the audience?
Just listen to your inner heart and help yourself. There's one more little thing, if it's okay. From that quote, it also has a little bit in it where it says, the moment one commits oneself, providence moves in, and you have no idea. Once you do that, to everybody, I mean it. Once you actually decide to do something, amazing things happen, and it's better than magic. So please do that.
Nice. Wow, just great words of wisdom. And, you got to love grandmothers, too. Grandmothers are, just the heart of, families and just the heart of this world. I just recently lost my grandmother, and I miss her. So,
I'm sorry.
Your grandchildren are very lucky.
Oh, I hope so. They're beautiful. I absolutely adore them. They're just beautiful children. Yeah.
Well, if you got room for one more, you can adopt me also.
Okay, Marcus. That sounds lovely.
Nice.
Okay, well, we'll have to have a separate talk and see. If you want to have a grandmother in Australia, we'll see what we can do.
That'd be nice. Then I have a reason to come to Australia then.
Okay. Look forward to seeing you whenever you come.
Nice. Okay, well, that's all we have tonight, folks. We greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. We are definitely appreciative to Gabriella Kovac. She was just a blast to have on. We definitely like to have her on again in the future when she releases a new book. We'd like to bring her back on again, if that's okay with her, if she'd like to accept the invite. Oh,
look, I'd love it. I'll let you know when it comes out, and I would love to come back to your show and have another chat to you. That would be absolutely awesome.
And we'll be ready for you next time because we have good notice, and we'll know how to call in.
Fantastic. That is just great. Thank you very, very much, Marcus.
Okay, you're so welcome. And to each and every one of you guys, many blessings, peace, and love to each and every one of you guys. Visit www.transformubroadcast.com and make sure you join the community of the world's leading experts and all of our friends. And my new adopted grandmother will be there too. Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Okay.
That would do it.
This session is no longer